Okay, I am back, and let us have a quick one. This is going to be a short one before I do the How to Be a Werewolf vid. I took some time and I sat down and watched the 2020 Animaniacs revival, if that's what you want to call it. And I'm going to be real with you. It kind of falls short. I mean, the original Animaniacs was a variety show. And the 2020 reboot literally stripped all of the variety out of it.
Meets Pinky and the Brain who wants to rule the universe. A brand new cast who tested well in focus group research. Gender balanced, pronoun neutral, and ethnically diverse. The trolls will say we're so passe, but we did matter first.
Not to mention the original creator, Ruger, or however you say this man's last name, was basically cut out of it. And I'm going to be completely honest. It's kind of has involved with a lot of politics that's going on in the show itself. And much like everything else, politics ruins everything. And to me personally, that's in the Animaniacs. But this is not only my opinion. This is also the opinion of my siblings who, as well, grew up with the Animaniacs in the 90s, as well as enjoyed the Wacko's Wish movie in 1999. Now, you're probably wondering, what do you mean it was a variety show and the current 2020 iteration is missing characters? Well, its original format was like a 3 mini episode sketch comedy satire type of deal, where each episode, each time it was on air, it featured different characters of the entire cast. And I'm going to be real with you. The lack of these other characters basically turned it into the Warner Brothers and the Warner Sister and Pinky and the Brain. That's it. Full stop. Now, there are some easy bits of in-betweens or, straight up filler to occupy time, but that's it. It generally, in my book, it falls flat. The main premise was to keep it short, sweet, concise. Like, it was an attention span thing, if you want to put it that way. Why sit down for a full 20 some odd minute episode of the Animaniacs when you could have the Warner Brothers and Sisters for a couple of minutes, switch into the Pinky and the Brain for a couple of minutes, or Slappy Squirrel, the Good Feathers, Rita and Runt, Button and Mindy's, Katie Boom Boom, Minerva Mink, and a bunch of other characters that they had featuring any number of voice actors from the time. Chicken Boo, Colin, Flavio, and Marita. And if you remember that, those are the two, the pink and the blue hippopotami. How do you say that? The big Spanish sounding hippos. I thought they were pretty funny and they were madly in love with each other. But even Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck made guest appearances on Animaniacs. Now, back to what I said about the politics ruins everything. The 2020 Animaniacs is very much so influenced by I'm going to straight up call it, politics nowadays is outright toxic. I'm not going to say there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a time and a place, and when you're seeking, I'm going to call it just mind-numbing, something you just want to have a good chuckle at, politics doesn't belong there. Maybe if you're at a comedy show and somebody's busting out some political jokes, sure, whatever, but in a cartoon that established itself on whether it be physical comedy, slapstick comedy, you name it, these political jokes, they fall short. And I'm not going to say, I'm going to say, in my book, the politics is completely unwelcomed in there. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say it wasn't there before, but it wasn't as, what's the word for it? It's not obscene, it's not gratuitous, it is unnecessary. The way in which it pops up in the 2020 Animaniacs is completely unnecessary. Not to mention the fact that it's literally just the Warner Brothers, Warner Sisters, and Pinky and the Brain. So that's a 20 some odd slot minute, 20 some odd slot that they have to fill. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Not only did I find myself growing uninterested, my sister found herself growing uninterested. My niece found herself growing uninterested. My nephew found himself growing uninterested. And we were all sitting down and just watching. Not to mention the whole Animaniacs accidentally aired a sex telephone hotline number. So yeah, there's that. And I know a lot of people's like, oh, there's no hello nurse. But yeah, it was said once. But the nurse character, she wasn't involved. So yeah, the 2020 Animaniacs from the viewpoint of someone who is being targeted when this type of thing is re-released, or it's given a revival, or it's, you know, given a new stretch of life, it falls short. Because let's be real, what 10-year-old kid in 2020 is going to be interested in the Animaniacs? I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes and the IMDb scores are relatively decent, but a lot of the complaints come back to the same thing. It's not to say it's bad, but it's not to say it's good either. At its best, the 2020 Animaniacs is average, which is kind of ironic because back in 93 to 1998, it was just above average. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave you to make your own opinions. I'm going to leave you to make your own ideas up about the 2020 Animaniacs. And peace. I'm going to be scooping up for the next bit of things I can talk about with ya. Later. Deuces. Assalamu alaikum. Peace out.